everyone. I'm Elsa, and I'm from Barcelona, beautiful Barcelona in Catalonia, also known as part of Spain. So today I'm going to share my story about transnational inspirations. About 3 years ago, I started to learn about the Kurdish cause. In case you've never heard of it, the Kurds are an indigenous people from Kurdistan, a region in the Middle East, which is split between Iraq, Iran, Syria, and Turkey. The region was split with the help of the European countries. Although most population lives in these territories, there's also a large diaspora in Europe, in some European countries. By the time I learned about this, I was in my hometown in Barcelona, where there are not many Kurds, unfortunately. But I often travel around Europe, especially to Germany, where there's a big Kurdish community. So I connected to some people there to try to learn more about their struggle, and I realized that the cause has a very powerful theory behind it that has the potential to help others question hierarchies. This theory was forged after decades of struggle and a profound analysis of what has often been called the Kurdish question. Kurds have been colonized by many over centuries, ravaged, displaced, massacred, persecuted, discriminated, punished over and over again, to an extent where they won't accept a world that tolerates this anymore. Through their experience, they have observed how power works and are ready to change the status quo. Their theory asserts a strong critique on three main systems: capitalism, patriarchy, and the state. According to this, each of these pillars reinforces the other two, and to fight one would mean to fight the others as well. We unfortunately don't have the time to deepen this analysis today, but please do some more research. One of the most interesting things about this is how transnational it can be. When I explored this theory deeper, I found out that to build this theory, they took the ideas from an American theorist called Murray Bookchin, a Vermont-based philosopher who introduced social ecology, that is an understanding of the world based on a society free of hierarchy, and a different understanding of how society relates to nature. This idea was born in the 70s, or Bookchin wrote about this in the 70s, and then the Kurds studied them in the 90s and did a really good job adapting them to the Kurdish context. So the Kurds have been trying to build an alternative system for decades now, and like its people, the Kurdish ideas have no boundaries. Their autonomy project is becoming more and more popular today. In Europe, more and more social movements are getting interested and starting to learn from it. For example, in my region, there's a big secessionist movement that really wants to learn how Kurdish autonomy works. The way these movements have inspired each other made me think that the power systems the Kurds talk about are not only present everywhere, but they can also be questioned everywhere. When I got to the US, I started exploring other theories and the context where they came from, in addition to Bookchin. Bookchin, to my surprise, was a big fan of the Spanish Revolution, just like many other theorists from his generation. The Spanish Revolution happened in the 30s, and was one of the few examples of revolution that really challenged the power of the status quo. It was unfortunately defeated by international fascism, but for 3 years it succeeded in creating an alternative model of society for many people. Nowadays, there are not many traces of it, since it was completely wiped by a long-term fascist regime. It is interesting how different social movements around the world can turn transnational and inspire each other. I think that learning about social movements and struggles happening on a transnational level can help us understand our social context and analyze it. It has also the potential for questioning ourselves and the social categories we live by. In my case, and in terms of my research, it has prompted me to analyze social categories as such. I'm still learning, and I don't think I will ever have learned enough, not only from theories that are new to me, but also from the praxis I see from my Kurdish friends, from the history of my own country, and from so many different movements that tirelessly question hierarchies and challenge the status quo. Thank you.